Let's get to today's player profile. The Smackoff caller who is about to get the treatment right now is in fact responsible for one of the more famous pieces of sound that you've heard on this show in recent years. This piece of audio is from his 2016 rookie Smackoff call, and you should recognize it the very second you hear it.
Conor McGregor, you're the most overrated athlete I've ever seen in my entire life. You couldn't go 2 rounds against some out-of-shape, tequila-drinking pothead, and you're the king of Dublin. Next time you fly to Las Vegas, I'll be waiting for you at the airport. Then I'm going to rip that beard off your face and make you eat it.
Not that I needed to remind you, but that, of course, is the voice belonging to Cal in Vegas. The threat to meet one of the best cage fighters ever. The threat to meet that same guy at the airport and not only rip his beard off his face, but actually feed it to him is as absurd and outlandish and as misguided and arrogant as you could ever imagine. Yet this guy shows up, calls up, and delivers it very matter-of-factly with over-the-top confidence. Like, hey, Conor McGregor, you're overrated. I'll meet you at the airport, rip that beard right off your face, and make you eat it. Still waiting on that, Cal. But that clip is as good today as it was 5 years ago. In fact, it might be getting better with age. That thing actually is aging pretty well. Not that it would ever happen in a million years, but the sound in and of itself is actually aging pretty well. The thought of a guy in Vegas meeting Conor McGregor at the baggage carousel and ripping a beard off his face and feeding it to him.
Then I'm going to rip that beard off your face and make you eat it.
That might be the best he ever did that, but that's far from the only time he ever did that. In fact, that's one of about a dozen times that Cal in Vegas has threatened violence. Because essentially, violence is this guy's brand.
And tell Chael, the next time I see him, I'm kicking his ass. I could tackle Marshawn Lynch. I'll grab him by the dreadlocks and slam him into the ground. Hey, Kyle, next time you're in Las Vegas, I'm kicking your ass. Stephen H-Town. I'm going to beat his ass, too. Chael Sonnen, as soon as you get here, I'm slapping you. Just like I'll slap your sidekick right in the face, Charles Barkley. Charles, the next time I see you in Las Vegas, I'm going to splash my drink in your face. Then I'm going to throw you through his freaking window, you big fat fraud.
Not sure why this dude is so angry, but he is, and violent. So Cal in Vegas somehow has only appeared in 2 Smackoffs, which doesn't seem right considering his debut event was back in 2016. Considering he's that violent, considering he does have lines and apparently hands and wants to give them to you. But he's only been in the Smackoff twice. I played sound from his original attempt, the rookie attempt, and then he got in last year and he did this.
Hey, y'all, watch this. Jim, I couldn't believe the old gunslinger Brett Favre was bent because the Packers drafted a quarterback. Jordan Love is a straight-up baller. Favre, your judgment stinks. That's why you got busted sending pics of your little dong to that lady that worked for the Jets. I told Percy I'd do this. Come on, Jared. Woo! Jim, you've been doing this Smackoff thing for a long time. You got a bunch of old dudes hanging around this place. Guys like Stevie Carbone. Carbone's been around longer than Jim Leland. Steve, I think it's about time that you step down and retire. Next time you're in Vegas, I'll throw you a Smackoff retirement party. We'll do it at the Spearmint Rhino. You'd like that, you old pervert. Another old dude creeping around this place is Silkbag. Silk's the king of lame scopes. Silk, you make wood scopes seem funny and entertaining. Silk, do us all a favor. The next time you shoot a scope, put a shirt on. No one wants to open up their Twitter app to look at some old man's great chest hairs. Every scope is the same. You're falling down drunk and talking about stuff nobody cares about. Another old man hanging around this place is Caleb in Green Bay. Caleb is 35, going on 85. Leb's so ugly, his proctologist stuck his finger in his mouth.
Wow. So, believe it or not, that call didn't even crack the top 10. That's how deep the Smackoff is each and every single year. Now, you might argue that that call should have hit the board. And by hitting the board, I mean top 10. In hindsight, I might even listen to that argument because hearing that back, I'm even asking myself, how did that not make the top 10? I mean, there is some merit there. Either way, it didn't, but there is no argument. It was not good enough to actually win, and that's really all that matters around here. So the one thing you have to respect about Cal is that he does not lay out the entire year. This is not one of those guys who shows up the day of and then never again. Smackoff season is a 12-month affair for Cal. Don't believe me? Ask my guy, ESPN's Jeff Passan. Passan got on the wrong side of Cal a few years back. Now, if you're new to the jungle, back when Jeff Passan was with Yahoo, he was a frequent guest on the show and, in fact, appeared in a couple of Smackoffs and had a top 3 finish. So that made him a target. And he and Cal had a back and forth. They had beef. They had a heated rivalry that went on for a number of months. Here is Cal's side of it.
I love how Jeff thinks that he's the only clone with a career and a family, while the rest of us just sit in our bedrooms with a can of cheese balls in our lap. Jeff, you sound like a third grader. You said I can't read or count, and quote, pluck dingleberries. My dad can beat up your dad? Didn't want any of that? What's next, Jeff? I know you are, but what am I, Smack? Jeff, you also look like a third grader with that little pudgy freckle face, those giant elephant ears, and that $8 Leave It to Beaver supercut. Jeff, you get hooked easier than Odell Beckham Jr. That's because I'm that guy you grew up hating. The guy that played varsity sports, got a lot of chicks, and was invited to all the cool parties. While you sat in front of the TV on Saturday nights, popping your own zits and watching Skinamax with a jar of Vaseline. The only way you can contribute was writing lame articles for your school newspaper. Now you write lame articles for some website that I had no idea still existed.
Yeah, now he reports for a huge network and gets a lot of airtime and a lot of run. Either way, Cal in Vegas, man. I'm that guy you hated in high school. The guy who played sports and got all the chicks while you sat at home popping your zits watching Skinamax with Vaseline. I mean, dang, Cal. You think this guy's got much confidence? He's got the confidence of a 5-time champ despite being a lifetime, 2-time participant who's never once hit the board. But he's walking around like he's won it 5 times. He's walking around it like he's Rich Flores has won all of them. That said, man, I would not change a thing about this guy because regardless of what you think about him, his dude, as you can tell right now, this guy makes me laugh. He does. And the last time I checked, I was still the host, and this guy makes me laugh.
You tell that little nerd, Alvin, to do his job and give me a golden ticket for crying out loud. I love how your producer, Adam Hawk, tries to sound like some tough guy when he answers the phone. Who's this? Matt says he gets down like Wilt Chamberlain in the bedroom. Wilt Chamberlain? You wish. More like AC Green. I created Smackoff season. Before I got here, Smackoff season was nothing but a couple of perverted RSVP calls. Danica from Jacksonville. Danica, they refer to you as the queen. The queen of what? The last thing you ruined was the first hour of the Smackoff. Keep Mike and Indy's name out of your mouth. He's my pitch. Maybe Jim can start up a women's Smackoff league featuring Jolene, Sarah T., and that little bitch Brad and Corona. I'd like to congratulate Adam Hawk for finishing the LA Marathon. I mean, I guess you could call that running. And I was surprised at how well Keith Arnold did. Keith, you don't even look athletic. With your little bird chest and that huge gut. Bodie and Pearland, you're a grown man that uses words like Bubba and some bitch, really? Floyd Mayweather thinks you're illiterate. Dana White, you look just like Andre Agassi, except you're really big and fat. Dana, I love the way you stand in between the fighters that weigh in, like you could do something. Mike McCarthy. Hey, Mike, I hope you're in your car listening to me right now, you fat ass, and you can't coach. Mike, you have the brains of a pissant. Old man Ritt doesn't have a care in the world. Just sitting back there crushing candy and flicking boogers all over the place. Like some 2-year-old. Jim, I have to go. I got an elevator full of women coming up here to see me. And the Smackoff on the 3-minute man, but in the bedroom, I'm all night. Oh! Brad, 3 of your titles don't really count because you won those BC before Cal. I'm Brad and Corona. I'm the Smackoff champ. I'll rip that crown off your head and beat you with it, bitch.
Cal in Vegas. He just glossed a period of time BC before Cal. You're going to tell me, you're going to listen to that and you're going to tell me that the Smackoff does not have a place for that guy. You're wrong. Man, this dude, I'm not saying this guy's going to win, right? Do I think Cal in Vegas has what it takes to win it all? Well, I would say on the one hand, I would not put anybody in the field who I didn't think that on their best day would have a good look at it. So yes, I think that Cal in Vegas can win it all. We talk about this in horse racing all the time. We do not run horses in places where we do not think they can win. Same thing about the Smackoff. I do not put people in who I don't think that on their very best day would at least have a shot, a look at it. But what's it matter what I think, right? Listen to that guy. Obviously, the only thing that matters is what he thinks. And trust me when I tell you, not everybody knows that they can show up on that day. Not everybody thinks that they can show up on that day and win the day. Some in the field are just happy to be there. They know they're better than 99% of the other callers, but they also know they're not better than the 1% they're going up against on that day. I mean, let's be real. Some of you think that. Some of you are just happy to be here. Some of you might even make it better, but you know deep down you can't win. You know your best is not going to be Brad's best. You know your best isn't going to even beat Brad's B or B minus. Notice I'm not talking about Cal. Cal thinks he's already won. Cal's walking around telling people he's already won it 5 times. Cal is walking around saying he's the reason for the Smackoff. My man's up for a fight because he truly believes that he's kicked ass every time he's ever been in a fight, that he's won every fight he's ever been a part of, past, present, and future. Now, of course, perception and reality often are not one and the same. We're going to find out what the reality is on June 25th when it comes to Cal in Vegas. But listening to that body of work, he has done damage. He definitely has landed some blows. He's violent. He's got a pair of hands. And according to him, he's not afraid to use them.
I'll rip that crown off your head and beat you with it, bitch.
Yeah, I forgot the bitch. In other words, I'll rip, not me. Cal will rip that beard off your face and make you eat it. Cal will rip that crown off your head and beat you with it. Bitch. 1-800-636-8686. You got to beat that guy. That's what you have to deal with if you can play your way in. A guy like that, with that kind of game, who didn't even crack the top 10 last year. D-Rod in the 925, quote, I don't know who has more confidence, Jim. Old man Ritt or that angry hobbit Cal in Vegas? I'm not sure. It's close. It's close. Ritt is not angry. He's just arrogant.
Bring it on.
Cal is arrogant and angry.
Popping your own zits.
Paul Stewart, quote, OMG, Cal is sick. I'm dead. I'm trying to work. Knock it off. It is funny, man. A lot of that is really funny. Rome, Cal in Vegas has no chance at all to win the Smackoff, but he is very entertaining to hear. JP in Riverside. Sam in Grand Rapids. Cal in Vegas is unbelievable. The stones on this guy. He's like Ritt with roid rage. Is it amazing? Before I did that, I would say maybe 99% of you who know who that is hated his guts. Man, I can make you look good. Now, look at the reaction. OMGs. This guy makes it better. This guy makes it entertaining. What are you talking about, man? Before I did that, you all wanted to fight him. And believe me, he wants to fight all of you. Bella B, quote, how amazing would it be if Cal in Vegas won the Smackoff? It would be amazing, but not impossible. Not impossible. There are people less likely who have won. No names mentioned. Silk. SA Sports on, quote, I have to admit, Cal in Vegas is funny. And dude was robbed last year. Look, I'm not going to get into whether or not a guy was robbed because he didn't crack the top 10. What kind of an argument is that? Man, he should have been 9th. Oh, okay, fine. I'm sure that'll make him feel a lot better. 9th place. We're not here for participation trophies, Ken. You know this. If you can't make an argument that the guy should have won, then don't make an argument. Jaime, Cal is hilarious because everything that flies out of his pie hole is the opposite of reality. Yeah, but see, that's what makes it so great. It may or may not be, but I guarantee that guy believes everything that comes out of his mouth. I think he really is still waiting for Conor McGregor to show up so he can rip his beard off his face and make him eat it.
You big fat fraud.